9 a.m. news, workers resume work amidst minimum wage uncertainty. Nigerians describe 25 years uninterrupted democracy as a milestone. Plus, stakeholders call for enforcement of Child Rights Acts. Hello, welcome to NTA News. My name is Nsika Okon. This broadcast is reaching you live on Star Times Channel 103 and our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube. And now the details. Civil servants in Akwa Ibom State are calling on the federal government to expedite action on the implementation of the new minimum wage and help stabilize the economy. Blessing Akpan reports that they made this call on resumption of work after Democracy Day. The reports.
Ahead of the June 12 Democracy Day celebration, the hope of civil servants across the country were high, with expectations that the new minimum wage issue would take the front burner and be laid to rest. However, with the holiday over and the implementation of a new and acceptable minimum wage not in sight, the people are expressing dissatisfaction as they resume duties after the short break.
I wish federal government to cooperate with these workers to accept the increment in the teacher workers' wages. So about the workers, I wish them to start situation and continue to pray that things may change.
Governments also to empower us by increasing our salary. It can help us to sponsor our children and also to live well.
What I expect the president to do is to look at the report carefully and use his fatherly mind and heart to be able to give workers something reasonable so that it will not warrant another strike.
They also bear their minds on the expected minimum wage.
What I expect the president to do, because to do justice, is to give the workers something that is good. Because what they are proposing is nothing to write home about. If you look at the cost of living in Nigeria, 62,000 is nothing, to be very sincere.
The workers are, however, assuring that they will continue to put in their best for the overall good of the nation. In Uyo, Blessing Akpan, NTA News.
Nigerians in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, are receiving the presidential broadcast marking the 2024 Democracy Day with mixed feelings. Umoba said that report that while hopes are high for many in the face of daunting challenges in the country, some others lament the poor state of the nation with a plea for urgent positive changes. The story.
The presidential broadcast marking Nigeria's Democracy Day is one tradition which has come to stay, with Nigerians always eager to hear what the government has achieved and the way forward. This year isn't different, as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not spare anything at reassuring citizens of the commitment of government to protecting the rights, freedom and liberties of all Nigerians and ensure economic reforms. In his words, there is no doubt the reforms have occasioned hardship, yet there are necessary repairs required to fix the economy over the long run. For Nigerians, what does this mean to them?
You go to the market, you cannot buy things. What are you celebrating? There is no money to buy fuel. In your own country, you cannot buy fuel. Even when we are even the owner of the crude oil, we can't buy fuel in our own land.
Nigerians are passing through so much difficulty, and in times like this, you need a leader to speak confidence, to speak life into the people.
We are in a country when we are looking at the economy and the situations on ground, insecurity and all of that, but you see that what is concerned to them is national anthem. Since we've been singing the national anthem, what has it got to do with our finances, insecurity in the country and a lot of that?
Topmost on the minds of Nigerians is the issue of the national minimum wage.
Of minimum wage, I had expected the president to make a categorical statement on the minimum wage, but I didn't hear that. So it was just philosophical when he got to that point, and I was waiting for him to hit the nail on the head. He didn't do that.
To me, even if the government should give her consent and increase the minimum wage, can the minimum wage they have agreed on still take you home at the end of the month? It doesn't. What is the joy of increasing the minimum wage and then you cannot still buy things with it? They increase the minimum wage and then they increase the price of goods in the market. It doesn't make sense.
People that are actually working for this money, why can't you upgrade their own salary? If the senators are living fine, if someone can earn up to 30 million naira in a month, why can't someone that is working for that money earn up to 400,000 naira in a month?
For Nigerians, 25 years of uninterrupted democracy would have been worth celebrating in a country where there is good security, food security, and economic stability, amongst other democratic dividends. In Uyo, Umar Basedet, NTA News.
Celebrating 25 years of uninterrupted democracy can best be described as a milestone, considering the country's 64 years of independence with the longest democracy experienced by Nigerians. This is the position of some Nigerians, as Wisdom Jacob in this report takes a look at the journey so far.
For many Nigerians, whether it is called democracy or uninterrupted civilian rule, the past 25 years have been a roller coaster of a journey. To many Nigerians, the uninterrupted democracy remains a milestone for the country because Nigerians have only experienced democracy between 1960 to 1966, 1979 to 1983, and now the longest stretch spanning from 1999 to 2024. Within this long stretch, a cross-section of Nigerians have sense of disappointment at the pace of the journey, while others observe that it is difficult to understand if the movement is progressive or retrogressive.
Though it is not interrupted by the military, but it is what I will call self-interruption, democratic self-interruption. The democratic process by the key actors have been interrupted. By parties are not respecting the ideologies.
25 years is long enough for our government to have sat down and look at what will be better and what will have benefited the common person. But so far, I don't think it's so good.
The leaders are not up to what they promise their nations, in the sense that they are far away from the citizens.
What is the way forward for the journey?
When the citizens are able to feed themselves, when the citizens are able to go to school, when you are able to provide yourself shelter, when you are able to provide basic needs of life, facilitated by governments, that's when we have real democracy.
The government should work on the economy. I just saw something this morning that few companies are leaving the country, which is not healthy for our economy. I think the government should try and work harder. They should try and work harder for the betterment of the people who voted them, and also kept faith with the democracy itself.
Ourselves, what we can achieve in the area of coming together as a nation, to ensure that all of us live a fully democratic life.
Wisdom Jacob, NTA News.
As the country celebrates 25 years of unbroken democracy, some Nigerians in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State say the recent humanitarian programs rolled out for the vulnerable will further make democratic dividends trickle down to the grassroots. Clement Barikwe report that the respondents are, however, calling for strict supervision of the programs.
On May 29, 2023, when President Bola Tinubu promised vulnerable Nigerians and the youth a renewed hope in their welfare, many may have taken it with mixed feelings. 1 year after the President Tinubu-led federal government has rolled out policies and is still delivering humanitarian programs to Nigerians.
You know, when you have a leader that is thinking about the grassroots, about the less privileged, about the vulnerable, they need to be commended. Before now, you hear about grants, it doesn't get to the beneficiaries. But this time, there are facts to state that, to show that they got to the beneficiaries.
The president has done his own work by sending grant, do all this and that for other people to benefit.
It is another Democracy Day, and as President Tinubu begins the journey into his second year in office, some Nigerians believe the presidential programs can be more impactful.
There are NGOs that can be used, genuine NGOs, goes down to the downtrodden people and take their names and data and see how to reach them.
So if the local government are carried along in the implementation policy, I think it will help us to ensure that we put the right machinery on ground.
The student loans, a national consumer credit system, and a social welfare for the unemployed as well as graduates, the people observe reflect commitment to driving sustainable development and improving the lives of Nigerians. Clement Barkumi, NTA News.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Moino has received report of the committee set up to find lasting solution to issues arising from the amended Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Law 2023. The report was presented to the governor at the Government House, Uyo. The reports.
Constituted on April 16, 2024, the committee was given the mandate to engage critical stakeholders on the best ways of bringing lasting solutions to the issues surrounding the recently amended Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Law 2023. Presenting the report, Chairman of the Committee and Paramount Ruler of Eket Local Government Area, His Royal Majesty Edide Timabia, notes that lack of proper consultation was responsible for all the issues emanating from the amended law. He recommends rotation of the highest traditional ruler's office in the state to accommodate all ethnic groups in the state and foster peace among all.
If we seek to discriminate against one another, we would only end up cheating and deceiving ourselves. In approaching the assignment given to us, the committee was guided by the two memoranda submitted by Ifemi Bomibibi on one hand, the Paramount Ruler or Rulers in Obolo ethnic groups on the other hand. Both groups agreed that one cardinal issue was the need for rotation in the headship of the State Council of Traditional Rulers.
Governor Eno, while receiving the report, assures that he will take his time to study it with a view to come up with a draft that will reflect the true wishes of the people.
For me, I'm happy that everyone has come to the realization that this tool should be rotated. I think that was the major bone of contention, and that from the day everyone came to that conclusion, it had calmed all the frail nerves. This committee was to look at tenureship that will enable us, like again the president or the chairman have rightly captured, don't make it too sudden that people don't feel the impact, but again, don't make it too long.
The presentation was witnessed by the Speaker, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Secretary to the State Government, Commissioner for Justice, among other government functionaries. From the Government House, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
Stakeholders in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, are emphasizing the need to enforce the Child Rights Act and the prosecution of offenders who run foul of the act. This is coming on the heels of the World Day Against Child Labor. Emedion Omo reports.
World Day Against Child Labor was launched by International Labour Organization in 2002 to focus attention on the global extent of child labor the action and efforts needed to eliminate it. Recent research shows that over 218 million children work, many full-time, with no access to education, poor nutrition and care.
Since my mother born me, my father run and leave my mother.
So while walking on the streets, that was how I got raped at my 10 years old.
My father's sisters and brother now start against it. They was against me. They said that I'm the one that killed my mother. They now start accusing me.
The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, adopted by world leaders in 2015, seek to eradicate forced labor, end modern slavery and human trafficking, secure the prohibition and elimination of the worst forms of child labor, and by 2025, end child labor in all its forms.
They are our leaders of tomorrow. That is our future, the Akwa Ibom future on the streets. And that's a great loss in human resources when there is free and compulsory education.
As the right of the child is very important, I think so far the government of Akwa Ibom, they are trying. You can't eradicate crime in a society.
Now that the governor is remodeling schools and making education more attractive, I am hoping that it will be very attractive to go to school and unattractive to be on the streets.
With the theme, let's act on our commitment and end child labor, it is expected that government at all levels will key into the SDG target 8.7 towards ensuring children have a conducive environment to grow, thrive, and contribute efficiently to national development. In Uyo, Emediongmo, NTA News.
And now a recap of our major stories. Workers have resumed work amidst minimum wage uncertainty. Nigerians have described 25 years uninterrupted democracy as a milestone. That's our package.
Etongo utomyo na ukara editang ekombanga minimum wage. Mbono wokirut nyene janga banga ufon ediaga eto demokrasi ke iswa edap mission. Ma waisowo ebo yakukara enembet unen eno ntugoyen. Akwa Ibom emesiero nganyang meru wemedi mo Samson yaiko membok yan sini nombu foku bagu seneme. Mbunu tama concert esanu yo ekuru kara ebo yak inenge mpo ebono kikbe ambe minimum wage enyong ngam keri namno ndaga uforo idut nyen anien songonda amoy ke tangami kentyong utum nangante ekedara ke demokrasi de ema yaiko mbogome mfon Kendo tam ame demokrasi de ekedara ke ka yogo usen dobeba ka fiong itioke iswami idronyen mbunu tema concert ke fer idut nyen akeru kukara edine ngampo mbunu nyong tangako mbanga unyemme kufa kok mbun utum concert ekoto minimum wage ado kenangante ndwakodu make kuenge nku owinyong itangako ibanga akodo nanga mbunutum a concert ekekere mbunugo etangabo kemmimo ikopu inemeset nangante mo etiongo kutum usong bono wonko imayongabo kekekere mimo asokosene ke minimum wage ado nku mo ebo kekpa yedo mpoba kantum kirutnyen kemmimo isokibika kaiso isenifak inam ubyong utememo keri dape ndaga uforo idut nyan mikuyo uwemedi mo Samson okombok NTA edidara demokrasi nte yoko iswaidap mission ado ta kamampo inemeset nangante idut nyan adogo iswa ataminang yenyani iswa ukara nkanga fong ame ubyong imibaga ame mbono wonko kirut nyan edkate enyonga ikup inemeset ebanga mbono wo kirut nyen e mai tang ko banga usene minangante ubono mpo asoko kaiso kirut nyen yai kum boko min fon
Kana aba na ta wak mbonit nyen me kuro nya ukara idion ten democracy me kuro nya ukara mbono wo iswair mission abo yokemi atiente isang arido dok eso suo Kana aba no wakawo ukara miedo akaiso nennen awi bo ukara audo ngwandam po ono iden nyen si ado nutumu kara iden nyen anye dion kate democracy mi akodo donc iswa 1960 it was miswa 1966 ndien atamaka baka 1979 asam 1983 ndien anye baida miedo nyo ititi donc 1999 it was 2024 me Kana ukarame anyong tum ataw wang mer etang bukisang ukarame ifono na banantero usoy buke song di moridio misang ameka kaisu mete tamedem ataw wang buno wetang bu ke banantem bun sikamukara ekrebu piminam senemo kingongo kini ni moy farakan dutum mbuba inong inanga mengwandaw mpo sidi benu furo men kaiso idoridi inyo inam mpo mem ano afrefre wondi dia yonba ba atodo iden nyen Nigeria ofon Wisdom Jacob Kombok NTA
ma waiso woku yo Akwa Ibom State tangai banga ofon erinambet unen non tugoyen nko enyo aisana wo amiaran tugoyen ofen kempakop Amoy kay tangami nanganti darake usen erikpan nonon tugoyen ufen eko to World Day Against Child Labor. Yai kom bokomi yogo.
Unadot esu serenam ebo yageto yombono wo ufon ana tetre mbono wo rifono ntogoyen. Ndiendo nga anam yagadi yongo ke mponte ntogoyen yogo ke million iba. Kat mention sio ufen ke umemmo ndosok iba ku fongwet. Iniere eti ndiria irianko keri kan boke nam ntogoyen enie eti ni so me ikpo woke onaro kiswa 2015 ema nam ndotum arikan boke sio idiok ukama ntogoyen unyong ye arifono monko den boke 2025 kedo idoronyen ndimo ke adinam ado iribaraba ke iworiko akiswami adogo Ufon anangate mbono wo ekrebo ke etre arifon no ntogoyen ebo yakukara edian ubak ye unarubut ekrebo ke enam yankan kok afon sen ntogoyen eba manatoro iniso arifon mi kuyo emediongo akombok NCA
Ugang tembok nyen ku ba ko senami etrero nyang medu wemedi mo Samson eso songo kang pangutong tutun dobreyo